I'm ready to draw the second eye. Okay, so like with the first eye, I'm going to trace around it first with Polychromos Dark Sepia. Like on this other side, it's got kind of a, almost an angle right there. Just lightly doing this area around the eye. I think I messed up right there. What I like about the Polychromos is they do erase a little bit better than the wax pencils on any paper, really. Especially this type of paper, which is just a Bristol Vellum, so it's got some tooth to it. Not crazy tooth like pastel matte, but you just have to be really careful with the colored pencils. It's hard to erase them on this surface. So that's why I always start out pretty light. I feel like I messed up the shape of this eye already. Let's see what my good old Tombow mono eraser does. Just not liking how I did this part of the eye. That's a little bit better than the kneadable. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we have some fur coming down. So I'm gonna try and preserve that. So there's a piece right there and a piece there. Okay, and then I like to kind of take a step back for a second. Make sure my two eyes make sense. Comparing it to the eye on the other that I've already drawn. And then I'm just gonna start to do some of this black lines that are down here, just to put them in. I don't know if you heard that, but that's Lakota Dreaming. It's pretty cute. Uh-oh, if you have dogs, when one of mine does that, kind of yelps in their sleep, the other one, it kind of freaks out the other one. So Addie's getting up and moving around. Okay. Top lid, we gotta do the top. There's not a real thick line on that, so. Okay. Now, we have to do the iris. I don't know why, I just have a horrible time with the cat iris. Okay, let's see what we can do. Okay, so there is a square down here. I think I just went over it. Okay, that's not too bad. Although now I'm noticing that this one, well, needs a sharper point at the bottom. That's better. Okay. So I'm looking at the shape. Trying to make sure I have the shape right. I just picked up the black. Okay. Fix that. Better to have it too small than cover over where it's supposed to be green. All right, I think that works. Smooth that out a little bit. Okay, this iris is kind of funny because to me it looks like it's going that way a little bit to the left. Just lightly going over the sepia with the black now. So that way you have clean lines around the eye. Okay. Okay, I think that's good. Now let's do, let me get rid of this pencil. I could put that in, which might be a smart idea. Let's do, with the cold gray one, you won't be able to see it really well, but preserve this catch light up here so we don't draw over it. So I'm just using little circular light strokes. It's got some blue in it too, from the sky. There's a little tiny one over here. And then this one, this square one is darker, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put cold gray in there just to preserve it. I feel like if you put a lighter color down, and I see like a little bit of a lighter area down here, it's easier to erase it later or keep it light, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Pretty good base for the right eye. My squeaky chair. I need to find a better chair to draw in. I have, this is just like an antique cane chair. And I was using a stool that pulls up to the kitchen counter, but it's too high. I really need one of those chairs that goes up and down. Where I saw an artist, she had a table that went up and down, and so she would sit in her same spot, but then move the table up and down depending on what she was working on. So for example, right now as I sit, this eye is a little bit too high for me to see properly, but you know, you make it work. Okay, so on this side there's no tree, but there are some eyelashes. They're over here. Probably put those in with that chromium green. I'm just leaving a couple little lighter spots in here because I think that needs to be maybe that earth green. And I know up here is darker, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the May green down anyway and then layer on top of it. Okay. I'm gonna raise this lid a little bit. Trying to clean up the black below the eye before I start putting all that color in. I want a sharp line there. Might come in with a different black, a different brand of black eventually, because this isn't being as black as I want it to be. But we can do that later. Okay, I think that looks a little better. Just looking at, I'm double checking what I've drawn with my printed out image of a cat to try and make sure that proportionally it looks right. It's just a neighbor, Addie. My neighbor's daughter has this dog, and it's Addie's best friend besides Lakota. But sadly, my neighbor she adopted another dog, and she's really cute, but she plays too rough. So then my neighbor's daughter can't bring her dog over anymore. Addie would get so excited looking for that dog. We called her Brown Haze. Her name is Hazel. So she still kind of looks out the window when she hears them come in and out of the driveway. I'm using earth green. I don't think I told you that. Okay, so this is the cool area over here with the eyelashes. So I'm just kind of doing a zigzag. And then I'm noticing around the iris, more on this left side, but a little bit over here on the right side. It's a lighter green, so that's why I'm using this earth green. It's more of a blue green. It's not the yellow green like the May green. Okay, so I'm gonna put those eyelashes in with, what did I do with that? Chromium green opaque. So I want to make sure it's really sharp. Okay, so I'm putting in the eyelashes so you can see the reflection at the top of the cat's eye, of the eyelashes. Okay, so we have that more, like the green gold's gonna need to go over here. This right side of the eye is a lot more yellow gold. So I'm gonna stick over here for a minute and fill in the darker green areas on this side, on the left side of the eye. Using circular motions. You might see that I kind of flip my pencil around sometimes because if you move it around a little bit when you work, it can keep it sharper for a little bit longer anyway. This paper's not like pastel matte where you have to sharpen more. Okay, there's this kind of darker area right there, which is kind of neat. It'll help to make it look like a spear. Then you have all these little cool shapes in here. So I'm not going to use, I was probably using medium pressure here. Oh, well, let's do under this catch light first. I think this chromium green is pretty perfect for this color. And we'll put some blue in that. Okay. So we have some neat shapes right here that are, they're gonna have the green gold over top of them or the raw umber. Okay, I'm gonna put some of this around here. I'm gonna put that phthalo green around it too. Eventually, that black really needs to be sharpened up a bit. Here's my square. Okay, let's sharpen up that black. The iris, I just want it to be more obvious. So this one goes all the way to the top. That other one didn't. Really, it's got a line right there, but I'm afraid if I do that, I'll lose the whole square. It's got one like, I'm kind of scared. Let's put some blue in that catch light up here. Catch light might be a little too big. So these usually look, oh, and this is sky blue. The catch lights usually look white, but they're not. They're usually like a cool gray or a blue. Looking for my chromium green opaque. Okay, so now I'm looking over at my photo. So what I do is I look to the left right now. I have my iPad open with zoomed in eye. And then on the right side, I have my printout of the cat. So sometimes I sit back to look at the printout and I can see that I have made that catch light too big. I mean, yes, too big. So I'm gonna cover over a little of those lashes and probably draw them down a little further is what I'll have to do. Kind of coming at an angle right here. Okay, cat eye looking good. Let's do some green gold next. Okay, green gold, Polychromos. Okay, I'm gonna start at the bottom here. You see where it's definitely more yellow. And just remember to be real light with this, because you can always put more on, but this would be kind of hard to remove. Put a little up here. But mostly it's on this side. It's got some cool lines in this side of the cat's eye. I'm gonna try and preserve some of those. So that can be hard at the scale. Okay, that's pretty goldy. Okay, just looking at it. So I'm thinking, let's do that burnt sienna. You can see how much I like my burnt sienna. So at the corner of this eye, it has some definitely. So sometimes you will see some reddish bits in the eye, and that's because of the blood vessels that are in the eyes. Okay, and I'm thinking, well, maybe a little bit here, but probably let's do, let me smear this out a little better. Let's do raw umber first and see what that looks like. I need to sharpen it. Okay, so to the right of the iris, I see raw umber. Typically, when I'm working with colored pencils, I do the lighter colors first and then build up to the darker colors. So that's why I was thinking, well, maybe I should do the raw umber first before the burnt sienna. Okay, and down here, try and keep my shapes. Super light right here. I'm gonna go back over this area with some green. Because that's pretty orangey. Okay, so the green we want, I think, is the May green. I don't know if you can hear her snoring. I took him to the park this morning, so she's tired. I'm not putting it everywhere because there's some lighter spots. I don't know, like here. But I'm gonna keep like that. Just looking, probably earth green. Where's that one? Down here, this looks a little bluer to me. So I'm just building the color till we're happy with it. Not a line where this catch light is. I'm trying to kind of blend it in. Okay, maybe a little bit more dark. So the chromium green opaque, and I also want the black to tighten up my line down here. Alright, I was kind of fixing the black around the eye. Okay, so let's do, I'm gonna put a little green over where I put that burnt sienna because I think I went a little crazy. And I'm gonna try and darken this. Top of the eye, there's usually a shadow. And then I'm going to go over my dark bits too, just to make them a little darker. So the more you can up the contrast, the better something will look. So if you focus on trying to make things as dark as they're supposed to be and as light as they're supposed to be, it'll look more realistic. Alright, I'm kind of fine tuning it. Sometimes I sit back and look at it. Okay, so this catch light is too light. It's actually more of a warm gray, so I'm gonna get maybe a, let's see here. Maybe a 3. Warm gray 3. Lightly put that in there. Got the earth gray. Trying to get this shape right over here. And then I've got some holes I need to fill in on this side. A tiny, tiny light right there. I guess we could put that in. So you don't have to make it look exact. Sometimes I get in the weeds and then, you know, and then you think maybe it looks bad and then you sit back and you're like, oh, that looks a lot better. Because other people aren't going to be looking at your drawing with their face right up to it like yours is while you're working on it. Okay, so let's put some of that crazy green in there. That dark phthalo green, just to make it make sense with this other side too. So around the iris, ooh, a little crazy right there. Put some, be careful, because you can see what I just did. It'll be okay. Now the only thing I think we need to do here is darken darken the top a little. So I'm going to use, let's see if this is any darker than the opaque. So I've got olive green, yellowish. This part right here is darker in the reference than on here. And I would like to put a little burnt sienna in there, but I don't want to put too much. Yeah, that's working. Go back over on this side and put a little. Okay. Burnt sienna. Just a touch. Because it's pretty powerful in this eye. Yeah, I think that's right though. Okay, I think that is the second eye. So I hope you enjoyed drawing along with me. Would love to see how your eyes look. And I hope you continue to draw the rest of this cat with me. Okay, until next time.